Welcome back to the Mining Investment Event of the North. I'm Alvaro Peralta with MiningIR, and with me, I have the pleasure of having Jon Deluce, CEO and President of Abitibi Metals Corp. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. You know, what a great time we had in Quebec. That was absolutely amazing. The weather held out, lots of good meetings. How did it go for you?
It was excellent. A lot of quality meetings. We're still a very new story. It was my first time at the event, so really got to meet across institutions, high net worth corporates. So really, it was a great conference. Joanne did an excellent job, and yeah, definitely going to be back next year.
Yeah, we'll be there as well. Listen, Jon, you and I had a little discussion on the last day there in the afternoon, and I want to dig into a little bit more of what you guys are doing. And why don't we start talking a little bit before we get into the mine and the project itself? Let's talk a little bit about you and your family, the team that's driving this.
Yeah, no, so I'm the founder and CEO of Abitibi Metals. So I'm a chartered accountant, come from a finance background. I've worked in my family office, and my family office is diversified across the airline, mining, and real estate businesses, and I lead the mining sector of that family office. But I spent just under 6 years in mining consulting and external audit at Ernst & Young, so I got to work with a lot of the majors, really got to learn what they're looking for and really establish good contacts out of that experience. But really, my family office involvement in the mining side, we've been in the mining space for about 25 years, largely in the private sector. But when I say private sector, we were prospect generators, financiers of junior mining companies. But really, we saw a lack of prudent managers of capital in the space, and that's what brought my interest in building a junior mining company, as we see a lot of upside in this current cycle. So as I mentioned, I founded Abitibi, brought it public in 2020, did 2 transformational acquisitions, but the company was self-funded with over $3 million from my family office during this tough market condition that has led to us really acquiring what I believe is a world-class asset at B26.
It certainly seems to be that way. We're going to get there in just a second. Mm-hmm. Let's dig a little deeper into the team, and then please also share a little bit about perhaps some of the advisors that you have on board. I know that you just brought on Victor Cantore this last week. So,
yeah, no, that's really what we saw it out as. We're in the process of growing our team, and I think it really takes a world-class asset to attract a world-class team. So now on our advisory board, we have Eric Callio, who was the senior vice president of exploration at Kirkland Lake Gold that was taken over by Agnico. Shane Williams, the current CEO of West Red Lake, and also previous VP of Eldorado that helped develop the Lamaque mine in Quebec. And then now Victor Cantore, with his tremendous success at Amex and him being so well connected in the capital markets, and especially influential in the province of Quebec, where really we are situated, and we're building Abitibi around a Quebec-based portfolio. So really, and then we have Martin Demers leading the technical side of our exploration. That was a senior geologist at Horizon that was taken over by Hecla. So really, it comes down to finding the asset, in my opinion, assembling the team around it to really build the value proposition. And we're very excited about the team members that we have as part of the story.
What a depth of knowledge and capacity you've developed there. That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about, for a would-be investor, or perhaps some of your existing investors that may not know, who are some of the notable investors within the company right now?
Yeah, so I think maybe to speak to our investors and our overall financial position. So we announced the option at B26 in November, and between now and then, we've raised over $22 million with no warrants, largely with high net worth individuals, led by Frank Giustra, Greg Shimandi, amongst a large A-list shareholder base. That was done with no warrants. So really, we're in a very unique position where we're financed out to Q1 2026 in what is still quite a challenging junior mining market. But really, we have some very strong shareholders led by the gentleman that I mentioned, and we're well funded, that we've removed the financial risk from our B26 option, that we are now financed to earn 80% by the end of next year, but really also having no warrant overhang on the stock. So we have a lot of catalysts to come. We've just come out of our Q1 drill program, but yeah, we have a very notable shareholder base, which I think speaks to the opportunity that we're presenting at Abitibi Metals in B26.
And you also haven't weighed in with your actually family investments as well. So you guys are notable investors. You stand shoulder to shoulder, not only with these names that you mentioned, but as well with the rest of the retail shareholders. Why don't you give us an idea of what that looks like?
Yeah, exactly. And I think so during this tough market, we have basically self-funded the company over the 2 years leading up to the B26 acquisition, that allowed us to keep this cap structure tight, while also showing our commitment to the company and our shareholders, that allowed us to announce the option at B26, which was basically a partnership with the Quebec government. So through our financial commitment to the company and putting over $3 million of our own money into the company, it really positioned us amongst our competitors, really showing our commitment to the company, that we're very disciplined in how we spend our capital. We run our exploration programs at a very, very cost efficient compared to our peers. So my family office, my management team, we own 20% of the company. We have 13% in our general family fund. So we have a very large insider ownership, but we also have put a large financial commitment into the company. And we even as early as put in another large contribution into our last financing in April. So not only have we financed it when times were tough, but we continued to add to the financings in the majority of the rounds that we've done at the company.
That's a huge sign of support and trust in what you're finding in the ground. Before we get to that little part, give me some background on your funded. You've de-risked now into 2026. You're mentioning, what are the catalysts that are like right in front of our noses in 2024? I know that you guys have been pretty aggressive in your drill programs, so we should go over that.
Yeah, so we finished 13,500 meters of drilling in the first and I guess beginning of the second quarter. We have our final results to come out from that drilling at B26. We also have our results out from the Beshford project that we drilled 2,400 meters next door to the B26 project. So drill results, we have a property-wide gravity survey at the B26 project that we think will help uncover other standalone targets outside of the B26 deposit on the larger 8.3 kilometer trend, to sort of answer the question that some of our followers have had: can you make a new standalone discovery outside of the B26 footprint? So that's something that we're looking to test this summer. And then, as you mentioned, we're fully funded to complete at least another 18,000 meters of drilling between when we restart next month and the end of the year. So that's a lot of news flow, a lot of drill results, but also taking a pause to highlight the overall growth strategy at the B26 deposit and what we think is the size and scale of the system as a whole. Because we believe that this is a 30 to 50 million ton potential target, but now we need to work backwards to show that as a credible thesis to the market and start to drill against that. But really, we're very excited about what we've done in Q1 in this initial drill program. And now it's part of assembling the larger picture of what it means, what we believe the growth potential is, outlay to the market as we start to drill this again next month.
And yeah, I was on your website and I saw quite a bit of the roadmap that you guys have towards the PEA for Abitibi. We've covered some of what I feel are some of the major must-haves if you're going to make an investment in junior mining exploration. The one thing we haven't covered is jurisdiction.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in one of the best jurisdictions, not just in Canada, but in the world. Why don't we cover that a little bit?
Well, I think that's a very important point, because exploration is a very risky business to start. But like in our case, we have a copper focused polymetallic deposit that has also gold and zinc and silver associated with that system. But copper, 50% of copper production in the world comes from political unstable jurisdictions. So it's a risky business to start with, but for ourselves investing our own capital in Abitibi, we want to ensure that if we make a discovery, if we're able to prove B26 to be an economic prospect, that we benefit, because we've seen stories as of late where you have copper mines that have been taken out of production from countrywide nationalization. You've had discoveries that have not been able to be permitted, and you see what is a very exciting prospect evaporate overnight. So I think it's very important that you're operating in a jurisdiction, especially during these economic conditions, that I think we'll see copper and gold be a lot more important in terms of a national interest standpoint. It's very important to be in places that you'll benefit if you have the success in what is a risky business. So the support that we have from the Quebec government in terms of financial support, permitting support, strong partnerships with First Nations, I think is the strongest across Canada, and is why Quebec is consistently recognized as one of the best jurisdictions worldwide. So I think it's an important factor to consider as investors, to ensure that if we have success, that we're rewarded. And I think Quebec really minimizes that risk as much as possible.
I can't agree more, and I think we heard that theme quite a few times when we were in Quebec, being repeated over and over again. Let's dig into now why you're excited about what you're finding. Give us a little bit more technical idea of both the inferred and the indicated resources that you're finding.
Yeah, so I guess looking at the project as a whole, this is very unique in that we optioned B26 off of SOQUEM, which is a private company financed by Investment Quebec. This is a deposit with resource across inferred and indicated of 11.4 million tons at 3% copper equivalent. But this has never been developed in a public company. So this has been developed by SOQUEM, basically an exploration subsidiary of the Quebec government, since the discovery was made in 1997. So we're picking up an asset, as I said, never been in a public company, really is open for expansion. And we've started to prove that thesis in Q1 and Q2. We proved extension potential on the western and eastern side of the deposit, high quality infill that has identified some high grade lenses up to 11.4% copper equivalent over 10.6 meters. And we've also, I think, delivered on a thesis of there being an open pit potential to complement this high grade underground. So these are all things we're excited about. We are looking, we've incorporated this into our internal resource and had very positive, I guess, reflection internally. We're looking at options to bring that out externally to the market. But really, I think to summarize, these polymetallic systems are very rare. They have a significant premium valuation, especially in jurisdictions like Quebec and Canada. So we are starting with something that we're the first public company to really reflect and help show where the true value of B26 is in the marketplace. And now we're fully financed, not only to complete the option, but to have a large pipeline of catalysts between now and the end of next year. So we're very uniquely positioned because we do see B26 as a potential world-class asset. But now that we're financed, it's about showing that potential to the larger market so that we're able to continue to build on our value proposition to shareholders.
Well, let's close off to the shareholders or the potential shareholders with just a quick overview of the share structure, so they understand what it is that they're buying into from that perspective.
Yeah, so we have 109 million shares outstanding. We only have 700,000 warrants at 70 cents that were issued to broker warrants. So as I said, we finance this without any warrants on common shares. So we don't, very limited overhang on the stock. We have $17 million in the bank as of today. And a lot of that, 30% of that stock is within my family office and management. We have high net worth strategics that make up a large percentage of that shareholder base. So really, we're in a position of strength to push through this tough market, highlight what I think is a very significant opportunity at B26, and really cater to what the demand is out there, and that's copper, especially in strong jurisdictions like Quebec, where there is a strong pathway to development and where we have a lot of the majors operating. Because at the end of the day, we're in this to realize a liquidity event, build an asset in a company that is sought after as a takeover target. So you want to be in jurisdictions where the majors already are and where the majors are looking for their next opportunity. So I think that's an important piece of the overall value proposition that we're building at Abitibi.
I think that you're crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. It's beautiful to hear how clear your vision is and the roadmap that you've created to achieve that vision. We're super excited to follow you further as the year rolls out and to hear what some of these catalysts are proving out for you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Jon, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to interview with us today.
Likewise, appreciate you having me. And any of you're following, visit us at abitibimetals.com and feel free to reach out to us over email if you have any questions.
Excellent. We will. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.